I've got the new Huda Beauty Desert Dusk Eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today. I originally wasn't going to like designate a video towards just this palette, but I hauled it in my last video. And you guys wanted to see like a swatch video and then a demo and stuff like that, so I thought I would go ahead and do that today. And there will be a demo for the look that's on my eyes right now towards the end of the video. I already tossed the box packaging, but I purchased this off of the Sephora website right when it went live on Sephora, and it was 65 bucks. It's kind of up there in price range, but you do get a pretty decent amount of product. There are 18 shades in here, and each shade is 0.049 ounces, pushing that 0.05 ounce mark per shadow, which is about medium size in terms of pan range. There's 0.89 ounces of product total in this palette. I also purchased the Huda Beauty Textured Rose Gold palette months ago when it first launched. I purchased it off of her website. It did take quite a while to get here, but that palette was okay for me. I wasn't like crazy about it. I was able to get a couple pretty looks out of it and stuff like that, but it was a little bit more challenging to use than some other eyeshadows that I have. This is a different eyeshadow formula than that one, and another big difference between the two is the packaging on this new one is much more substantial. The cardboard is thicker. It just feels a lot nicer than the first shadow palette that she came out with. It is a cardboard packaging, but it is more sturdy than the first one that came out. So here's the cover of it, and then inside, which is a nice little detail, there's a sleeve that kind of goes over the front of the shadows. Normally I toss these, but I think it's really pretty, so I'm going to keep it. And then inside here are your shades. I'm going to go ahead and read on the back and tell you what it says in terms of the textures of the eyeshadows. It says there's 8 buttery mattes, 6 pressed pearls, 3 duochrome toppers, and 1 daring glitter. In terms of the 3 duochrome toppers, I kind of feel like there's only 2 that are that topper texture, and that's Twilight and Retrograde. Celestial would be the other one, but I don't feel it quite has the same texture as Twilight and Retrograde. It's got more of a powderiness to it than those two do. Although it is a duochrome, it's got like a peachy shift to it. I've used every single shade in this eyeshadow palette, and I think that it's a stunning eyeshadow palette. If you're watching this and the Sephora VIB sale is still going on, this is one of the first palettes that I would recommend for buying off of the website during the sale. I'm like so tempted. I'm like, no, you don't need to do that, because apparently this palette is permanent or part of the permanent range now, but I'm like, should I get a backup? I kind of feel like it's kind of weaseled its way in front of the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette for me right now. Like I've been grabbing for this one as opposed to that one. Still love my Queen of Hearts, but I've been kind of going for this guy lately. The other one that would be a good one during the sale would be the Kat Von D Saint Sinner. That's a good one too. The one shade in this palette that's kind of like iffy is that Cosmo shade. That is a pressed glitter. I don't know how they made it stay in here, because when you swatch it or you put your finger in it, it's literally like glitters. I don't feel a filler in it, which is really strange, because without a filler, I don't see one and I don't feel one, so I'm like wondering how did they get that to stay in the pan, which is kind of like, it's very interesting. You do have to be careful when using that shade. The couple times that I have used it, I've used my finger definitely and made sure that I was patting it on top of a little bit of a stickier surface. So like today I patted it over the Retrograde shade, but over the top of the Retrograde I placed the Sephora glitter adhesive, just a tiny amount to put it on there. And one thing that's kind of cool about the glitter, it's got a bunch of different tones. Like I can see gold and green and peach and red. There's a bunch of different colors of glitters in there. But because there isn't like a filler or a powder or nothing in there but just the glitters, when I tap it on, you can still see the prettiness of the Retrograde through the glitter. And that's kind of happened each time I've used it, because I've used it over Twilight and a couple other shades as well. And you can still see the tone of the shadow underneath that glitter. But you do have to be careful with it, because otherwise it will end up all over your face. This shade right here, this Twilight shade, is absolutely stunning. It's probably the shade that I've worn the most. And I'm like, I feel like I want to like spare it because I want it to last forever, but it's the shade that I just go to and go to and go to. Same with Retrograde. I love those two shades. The mattes in here blend really great for me. They're really pigmented. I don't think I had any fallout with the matte shades, but I did get a tiny bit of fallout with like Retrograde, and then when I put some of the glitter on. This palette is just a stunner. I've been enjoying using it. It's got a great array of shades in terms of for depth through the crease. There's matte, dark shades, medium shades, blend outs, and there's a nice highlight. I kind of feel like I use this highlight shade every single look, so I'm probably going to go through that one the quickest, but I could go on and on, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom up close and give you guys some swatches. So here is the palette up close. There is the information on the back. And then there is a mirror, and this guy goes all the way backwards. It's a nice sized mirror. And then here are your eyeshadow shades. So for matte eyeshadows, you've got Desert Sand, Musk, Eden, Amber, and Oud. Oud has got a slight, like an ever so slight pinch of pearl to it, but it's supposed to be considered one of the matte shades. Then you've got Amethyst, Saffron, and Blazing. Saffron also, like if you look at it really closely, there's an ever so slight hint of pearl. But that's one of the matte shades as well. So there are 8 matte shades. And then the 3 duochromes, you've got Celestial, Twilight, and Retrograde. I feel like these are a slightly different formula than this guy. They are a little bit more foiled, I think. And then for shimmers, you've got Blood Moon, Royal, Nefertiti, Cashmere, Angelic, and Turkish Delight. Angelic is a shade that came from the other palette. Angelic was in the textured rose gold as well. And then you've got that pressed glitter right there. So let me go ahead and swatch these. I'll do them by 4. Oh my gosh, I can already feel that there's a slight dent in the Desert Sand. Like I said, I use that shade every look. I will say too, like based off of like swatching and stuff like that, these go on the eye with a brush much better than like when you swatch them with your finger. Like some of the shades feel, like this one feels quite dry. They just go on a lot better than I think that they feel and they swatch. But these are the first 4. And then these next guys, gosh, this color's pretty. There's just so many pretty colors in here. So pretty. See, that's supposed to be a matte shade right there, but I feel like there's an ever so slight satin feel to it. Oh, I already swatched that one. Oh my gosh. And then these next guys. The purple feels, it's one of the drier, grittier feeling of the mattes. They're so pretty. I've noticed like the bones in my hands when I'm swatching always like interfere with the swatch. Random. Oh gosh, those are so pretty. And then these guys, I'm not gonna swirl my finger in the glitter because it's just gonna stir it up and stuff like that. I'm just gonna barely get some of it to try and show you guys. It's like it is a loose glitter. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna swatch. It's bizarre to me how they got that glitter to stay in the pan, like legit. And then these last 2 mattes. This one here, I've used this shade a ton. It feels extremely dry and gritty in the pan when you swatch it, but it goes on pigmented and it blends out really nice for me. And those 2 shades are matte. And then here it is next to the textured rose gold, which is on top, and then the Desert Dusk is on the bottom for shade comparison. Again, the shade Angelic is a duplicate shade that is from the rose gold palette. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Again, this has been like my go-to palette. It's one of those palettes that I just like to, hold it, I like to look at it, I like to use it. It's kind of ridiculous, but anyway, if you're interested in seeing the look that's on my eyes right now and how these went on for me, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. I'm going to prime my lids from the lash line to up underneath the brow with the NYX eyeshadow base. Then using my finger, I'm going to go into the shade Retrograde, which is right there. I'm going to pat that one on the lid. I'll use a brush on the other side so you guys can see how a brush picks this up too, because I've used it both ways. For the other side, I'll use a Goss 18 brush using that same shade Retrograde. The Goss 18 is discontinued. The closest thing that I have in my collection to it, believe it or not, is the MAC 239 brush. I've got a couple of Chikuhodo and Hakuhodo brushes that are flat like this. They're softer. They're not as firm as the Goss 18. So when I come across one that's like just like the 18, I'll let you guys know. I've been getting asked. So Goss 18 into Retrograde here, and then I'll put it on the other side so you guys can see that a brush puts it how a brush puts it on. It just goes on you have to pack it on a little bit more than if you use your finger. Oh my gosh, what? But a brush still does a pretty decent job. I'm actually going to use that same brush and go into the shade Nefertiti and put that right in front here. Just a little bit. Now using a Chikuhodo GSN 9, I'm going to go into the shade Saffron, which is the red color. I'm going to put that in the outer portion. Then using a Hakuhodo J5523 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Blazing down in the corner and start blending out the saffron shade. Before I further buff that out, I'm going to take this Esom G29 brush and go into the shade Desert Sand, which is kind of a matte color, matte brow bone kind of color. It's the lightest shade in the palette, this one. Buff this. Using that same Hakuhodo J5523, I'm going to go into the shade Eden and put that through here. Why are my cats always like on one when I film a video? I just don't even know. And then run that Esom brush. I'm not going to pick up any more product, but I'm going to run it back through here. That Retrograde shade is pretty enough on its own, but I do want you guys to see what it would look like with like that pressed glitter on. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Sephora glitter glue, 24 hour. And I'm going to put that, just a little teeny bit of it, like tiny bit, and pat it right here. Well, I guess that's enough for probably both. Then I'm going to use my finger in that one. It's called Cosmo, and just like barely put some pressure on it and tap this on. Well, you can still see the prettiness of Retrograde through some of the glitter, but I do have glitter on my face. Brush that off right away. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup, and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Cheat in the shade Pink Venus. I seriously don't know why I buy any other lip liners, because I feel like this is all I use. Are these Charlotte Tilbury ones? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and line my lips here. And then to fill them in, I've got MAC's lipstick, and this is in Nicki's Nude. It's an amplified cream. Love this lipstick. Love both of the Nicki lipsticks that came out. And there's the overall finished look using the new Huda Beauty Desert Dusk Eyeshadow Palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.